My name is Monica Gomez. I will be talking about the Holocaust, and here's my card. Okay, I'll show my audience. Okay. So, I'd like to start with when did the Holocaust start? It started in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. It was September 1st. It ended in 1945. There were about 11 million people that were killed in the Holocaust. About 6 million were Jewish. About 2.2 million were kids. There were many countries that were unaware of the situation that was what was happening in Poland at that time. That's why it was taking so long to the countries help the Jewish people and other prisoners in concentration camps. Why am I talking about it? Is because it happened in my country, because we learn about it from a lot of school stuff, literature, history, books, and movies. We know about it. This is where I come from, and this is what we don't forget about as Polish people. One of the things that I remember the most from learning about the Holocaust was how the Nazis were treating children, how they were picking off who are they going to kill and who are they going to keep to do the labor. They had a measuring tape that would measure how tall are the children, and if the kid didn't manage to reach the tape, they were being sent to take a bath. That's what they were told. Some of the kids knew what they were doing, what was happening, so they would stuff their shoes with something to make them look taller, or they would walk on their tippy toes. The bath that they were told was actually a gas chamber. There was a building that people were going into, and mostly it was old people, sick people, or children. In one room, they were getting undressed, and the other room was filled with shower heads where they thought the water was coming from, but it was actually gas. Other prisoners had to take care of the bodies after, and I think the worst thing that could have happened was a lot of times they would find their own families along all the dead people. Every day there was about 1,000 people sent to the concentration camps from the ghettos. Ghettos were places where Nazis would put Jewish people to separate them from the other society, where they would know that this is where they are, and they would arrest them for little things and take them to the concentration camps. They were transferred in a train that was actually supposed to be for the cattle, and they had no space in between each other. They couldn't even move. They had no food, no water, and they would die on the way to the concentration camp. When they got to the concentration camp, they were forced to work and with little to no food, with about 300 calories a day worth of food. There were many neutral countries that were not involved in the Second World War, and those countries were Switzerland, Sweden, Portugal, Turkey, and Spain. Actually, Switzerland decided to promote anti-Semitism, and in between the years of 1942 and 1944, they closed their borders to the Jewish refugees. USA didn't get involved in the Second World War until the Pearl Harbor in 1941, and even New York Times wasn't allowed to let people know about what was actually happening in the concentration camps. I think Holocaust was in conclusion, I would like to say that I think Holocaust was one of the hardest things that could have happened to people. There was 11 million people killed, 6 million were Jewish, and 2 million were children. And if some countries knew about how severe the situation was, that could have ended way sooner. No! Okay, this is my